I'm Dr. Joey Fawcett, and welcome to Faith Positive TV. Are you all in? Our scripture passage for this week comes from 1 Kings, the 19th chapter, the 21st verse. Scripture says, "So Elisha returned to his oxen and slaughtered them. He used the wood from the plow to build a fire to roast them. He passed around the meat to the townspeople, and they all ate. Then he went with Elijah as his assistant." So are you all in? When God calls you to work and to worship, to lean into your spiritual gifts and use them to the best of your ability, to do your best in all that you do on the job, are you all in, or do you hold back a little bit just in case you heard God's call wrong, or in case it doesn't work out, or in case they lied to you about this position, right? Elisha is a farmer. He's doing pretty well for himself. He's got a family supporting a farm, livestock, crops. He's fairly prosperous compared with his neighbor's standard of living. A fella could do worse, you know? Well, along comes the prophet Elijah, a man who'd made it rain in a drought, who'd made it stop raining and cause a drought, a man who called down fire from heaven, a man who floated an axe head in a stream, who made a generous widow's supply of olive oil miraculously multiply, defeated Jezebel's heathen prophets in a showdown of cosmic proportions, and just a few other little things like that. Elijah was a force to be reckoned with in all things God. Well, it was time for him to call an assistant, an apprentice, to learn the ways of all things God, so the work of representing the Most High could carry on. God instructed Elijah to call Elisha to be the next in line. Elisha's new work would be about as far from farming as you can imagine. There'd be no land to till. He'd be itinerant, no crops to plant. He'd pull up to other people's tables, no oxen to work. He would walk from town to town. Well, of course, the safe course of action would have been for Elisha to say, "Okay, God, I hear this call. I'll take it on for 90 days, see how it goes, and then we'll reevaluate and determine our next steps." You know, kind of a right to work deal with God. Instead, Elisha went all in. Nothing held back. The first thing he did was slaughter all of his oxen. You know, dead oxen plow no fields. The second thing he did was he broke up those plows into firewood, and he started a fire suitable for roasting oxen. You get in the picture? Kindling makes very poor plow. But next he invited all of his friends and neighbors to the ox picking. I mean, who doesn't love free food, right? Then and only then, when there was absolutely no recourse, no returning home, Scripture says Elisha went with Elijah as his assistant. You see, Elisha was all in with God's call to apprentice with Elijah. So what about you? Are you all in with God's call? What do you need to slaughter to follow God's path to your work life? Anything to break up and start a blaze with that's holding you back from doing your best for God? God's call on your work is all consuming. You're either all in or you're all out. Go all in on God's call right now. Ask God to kill whatever's holding you back. Pray for a fire to start in your heart and to burn up anything unnecessary for the journey that lies ahead. Go all in and work faith positive as you increase your faith with greater joy at work, so you can love God and others more. For Faith Positive TV, I'm Dr. Joey Fawcett.
Catch every episode of Faith Positive TV when you subscribe to the Faith Positive YouTube channel.